Hello, good evening, and welcome to TV Bakwetu. My name is Elias Munsha, and we are coming to you live. I know that in Calgary here it's about 1:31 p.m. and it should be about 21:30 in Zambia, in Chiwempala. And so I would like to welcome you to our broadcast today. We have lots of things to deal with and to talk about. With me, as usual, I have my co-presenter, Mr. Norman Chipakupaku, also known as General. Mr. Chipakupaku served in the Zambia Army. He was one of the young enlisted soldiers in the 70s. He went on to serve his country, and so it is always a pleasure to have him around. General Chipakupaku, good evening.
Good evening, Musha. Good evening, Chiwempala. And I think today I will say good evening to the people in Luapula, all the people in Luapula, and hope you're well. Good evening, Zambia, and good evening, all our viewers all over the world. And happy National Defense Forces Day in Zambia today. And
Right.
It's a special day, Musha, for me, really, to be having seen the March past. And I just wanted to say happy National Defense Forces Day.
Okay, could you please tell us a little bit about how you processed seeing the march past and all the equipment, and as a former soldier, what did that do to you?
Well, it brought back the tears, the tears and of the service, the good times and the bad times. Munsha, seeing those guns rolling by, the aircrafts flying over, it reminded me of the actual deaths of our people. It reminded me of the 24th of October 1977, when we were actually bombed by the Rhodesians in Chirundu. And on that day, I lost a friend of mine, Benson Simwene. And I remember rushing him from Chirundu. Those of you who know Chirundu very well, Chirundu Chanoff, rushing him after he had been bombed by a landmine to try and take him to Siavonga Hospital. And my dear friend died just as we were entering the hospital. It also reminds me of Captain Sisimu Itumwa, who was also hit by a landmine just at Rwangwa, on the Rwangwa Road. Right. Sisimu Itumwa was married to one of the MPs, Mr. Chembe's daughter, who ended up being Godwin Nkumbula's wife. And the whole of that parade just reminded me of those days. The hundreds of our people who died, the raids we had every day being raided by Rhodesians, Mozambicans, and the South Africans. So right. That's what reminded me. But the other thing was asking myself, do we really have to have that?
Right.
Do we really have to have that parade? Mm-hmm. Because I was in the National Defense Force when Kaunda declared us as a National Defense Force, because we were meant to fight as one force. And it also reminds me of the gallant generals like General Chinkuli,
right?
General Zuze, Peter right. Zuze, General Miwenge, General Masheke, General Tembo himself, General Mianda. These were gallant men who fought for our country, and that's what reminded me when I saw those that parade.
All right,
today.
Now, the parade itself, the National Defense Day, is actually in December. We did talk about it a few days ago, yesterday, that it's actually in December because it's made to coincide with General Kingsley Chinkuli's assumption as the first Black commander of the National Defense. And so it's quite curious that they held it in June, right during campaigns. I thought I was quite curious why it was so.
I found it very, very strange. First of all, those of my colleagues, our viewers who don't know what happened, we were being bombed left, right, and center. So Kaunda brought all the forces together. He brought the Army, the Air Force, the National Service, all under one command. And that's why we're the National Defense Force. And right. We're all under one command. And we started celebrating that as far back as 1976, I think. The celebrations every year have been very low-key, except right. for the Independence Day, when we have our things to display at independence. I remember the 10th anniversary of Zambia's independence in 1974, when we were showing all the little things we had. But I'm really shocked to see the 45th basically showing the whole army, the whole Air Force equipment, everything, including the Marine, the commandos, and everything. That really shocked me, especially during an election year.
Right. But nevertheless, as you have said, in spite of it being a very surprising event, you've taken an opportunity to remember some of your friends that you served with, and you've paid a tribute to great generals that served our country, like General Chinkuli, General Mibenge, General Miyanda, General Tembo, General Peter Zuze.
Yes, these are some of the generals we had. Some of the soldiers who died, most of them, and I will never forget the guy who was bombed in Feira, the first napalm bomb we had. And my friend Mfula from 4th Battalion Zambia Regiment, he's one of those who was killed on that day when we were bombed by the Rhodesians using napalm for the first time. And Zambians, I always want you to remember that. These are some of the things which make me very emotional about our country.
Right.
Is that we fought for the liberation of Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Angola, and we can't afford to have no freedom ourselves.
Right.
Because that's what we fought for.
Right. And so to all the men and women in uniform, all the defense forces, we salute you. Now, I'm a civilian, so I can't salute. So we salute you. The only thing we can do is to clap hands. You are the soldier to salute.
I will salute them, Muncha, although you are not supposed to salute in civilian clothes. And it also reminds me of the thousands of the soldiers I trained.
Right.
Those of you who are saying, no, I'm fake. I've trained thousands of our soldiers, and one of them is a guy called Isaac Mvula. I hope he's listening tonight.
Right.
Isaac, you were a good soldier and you saved your country. There are thousands of them at national service I trained. And I just wanted to say to those who went through my training, who I helped to train at national service in the Air Force and the Army, we still salute you guys, and we hope that you continue serving our country and being honest and loyal to our country.
Now, General, so our broadcast tonight, therefore, is a mix of emotion. It's a mixed bag. Tonight, we are going to mix it because we are remembering, we are saluting, we are appreciating, but we are also questioning what the Mukula is going on.
I think I've got so many questions today, and especially after watching that event and seeing what happened and seeing the statement by the president when he was fishing. He went fishing. I've got so many questions to ask. It's an emotional day because I saw our soldiers smartly dressed as they are, but there are still a lot of questions which need to be asked. So many questions which need to be asked.
Okay, so now that we've exhausted we needed to deal with the emotional part, because I wanted you to say and see how you experienced seeing that, right? Because sometimes the stories of soldiers, we don't listen a lot, and particularly that as a country, you know, the last big wars that we ever did was against the Rhodesians and all that. So sometimes we have no relationship, right? Apart from perhaps the state of emergency that ended in 1991. So I wanted you to deal with that a little bit, and as you have done, so that when we begin talking, we'll have dealt with the emotional part, because we are humans, right? We are both emotional people. And I think that is one of the things in this broadcast here, because we don't pretend. We are extremely emotional people. We don't pretend as if, we are extremely emotional people. We feel things, we get angry, we laugh, and we dance. Everything, we do it here. Okay, now, General, I think it appears like nature seems to be conspiring against this president. I really don't understand.
Well, one of the things which I was told when I was being trained in the army is that when you are going for a parade, you must prepare yourself. First of all, you must not drink too much water. You must drink water, but not too much water. Because
General Mwatampako, at no water. Please,
no,
continue.
you drink, but not too much.
All right. Okay.
Because if you drink too much and you go on parade, the chances that you are going to mess yourself up when it takes too long with the sun. Right. Okay. The second thing is that you need to have enough water to hydrate yourself. Right. Because you might be standing on the sun for 2 hours and you might end up collapsing, like what we saw somebody collapse today. So I was asking myself, did the commander-in-chief drink too much water or very little water? What happened today?
All right. Okay.
Because what I saw was very strange.
All right. Now, okay, so that event aside, later on, the secretary to the cabinet, his name is Dr. Simon Miti. He should be one of your young men. Dr. Simon Miti. He is the secretary to the cabinet. He's a medical doctor, and he's also, I didn't know until today, that he's actually the principal private secretary to our president.
Yes, he is.
That is quite strange. I find it very strange that he is secretary to cabinet, the most senior civil servant, but he is also a principal private secretary of our president. That shocked me. That shocked me because I really did not expect that. What I expected was that there will be a different principal private secretary and secretary to cabinet, because these are full-time jobs.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the statement he wrote was good. I wish to commend him for that. General.
That was a good statement.
I read the statement and I thought to myself, there is an adult at cabinet office.
That was a good statement, because trying to play public relations without mentioning that the more they delayed releasing that statement, the more the speculation was going to go on. So for me, I was very happy to see that statement.
Right.
The statement mentioning to say there was a problem. The president, he was dizzy, which I don't believe in. I think he something worse than being dizzy happened.
No, I'm not going to let you speculate. I am going to take what the statement says, General. Here is the reason. I'm only going to let you speculate. So if you are speculating based on the statement, it's okay, I'll agree. But if you are speculating not based on the statements, I'm going to disagree. Now, here is my speculation, and my speculation is on what that document says. This is what it says. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, experienced sudden dizziness. Yep. Wonderful. It's a very clear statement. He experienced sudden dizziness while he was on duty at the 45th anniversary of the Zambia Defense Forces Day. He has since recovered and everything is okay. He is fine. He is not sick. That is what I got out of there. And so, as far as I'm concerned, President Lungu is not sick. Now, I'll come to some of the things that I'm imagining could have caused his sudden dizziness. But before that, let me give you an opportunity. What do you think?
We all suffer dizziness. We also, it's caused by a lot of things. If you stand on the sun for a long time, if you've not eaten porridge in the morning, you get dizzy. At about 12 o'clock, you can easily have dizziness.
Right.
But for a president to be dizzy at a parade,
right,
it simply means something. Because I was watching the whole thing, Munsha, and all of a sudden ZNBC cut off everything.
Right.
And my sixth sense of defense was, wow, something has happened there. What has happened? Because what I know about a parade is that there is always a march past at the end, the last march past with a salute. It never happened.
Right.
And you can start thinking there was something which happened. Wow, okay. He was dizzy. He was dizzy. Did he walk to his car? Was he taken in an ambulance? Did he say, "Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, I'm feeling dizzy, I'm going away"? These are some of the questions which I have.
All right, okay. Now, all those questions have been overtaken by a statement from Dr. Simon Miti, which I am going to believe. Dr. Simon Miti says that the president is okay. And in fact, in the afternoon, he even went fishing at State House. We saw his picture. And so, as far as I'm concerned, he's fine. He's not sick. And that's why people that are saying that I'm mocking a sick person, I'm not mocking a sick person. The president is not sick. According to clear evidence from Dr. Simon Miti, the president is okay. He is not sick. Therefore,
I think the president is tired. I think the president of Zambia is tired. He has been inspecting a lot of bridges, a lot of toilets, and a lot of schools. I think he needs to rest.
Right.
I think that could be the cause of the dizziness. This man has been everywhere. This man has been traveling. I think the past 2 years, 3 years, every second day, Mr. Lungu is traveling.
Kakwendo Munjila.
Munsha, I watched the president of Zambia, my president, when he was at Breeze FM station in Chipata.
Right.
I watched all his actions. I watched all his movements. That was a tired man.
Right.
He was tired. He's tired. Mr. President, go and rest. You don't need to go fishing. You need to go and rest.
From I know that, of course, tiredness could be a cause, but I think there is something in addition. I think, General, what are you taking?
Well, I'm trying to avoid being dizzy, so I'm taking my sunpick.
Yeah, one Zambia, one dizzy.
Need dizzy club. So me, I'm trying to avoid the dizzy club.
You don't want to be dizzy commander. At where is the commander? The commander is dizzy. Eh? Okay. Mm-hmm. I think this is what happened, General, because I'm now speculating on the basis of the statement. I think Cholo Babuka Bakateka and Munganda Bevereyo, Dieniko Tusuma, Dieniko Kwate Dieniko something. And he said, "No, I'm okay. Nah, life if no finish because I'm a soldier valendolera." Breakfast. What is breakfast? I'll just I'll just deal with it. Let me just go. And off he went, I think. And if you don't have breakfast, General, I think breakfast is an important meal. And so in my own speculation, I think that could have contributed to the dizziness.
Munsha, me, I'm a Zambian with a 1/4 of me being Scots. It doesn't do you any harm to have porridge in the morning.
Right. If
you have porridge in the morning and a cup of tea, you can stand on parade for another 4 hours. It really doesn't matter. Right. So I think he didn't have porridge.
Yeah.
I don't think he did had porridge. I don't think he had porridge. I don't know what they say, what his favorite breakfast is. Right. Because if you are going to stand there for hours or sit there for hours, you better have your porridge in the morning.
Right. And we can't say that he has no access to food. I think food is there. Nomba mwalisho fyaba ume na problems, big problems, because you are being told eat. If yakulia na tupekanya at no ine amwe commander amwe general na laisa alianga na bwera. No. Sit down, eat something. Akachelo, please, everybody. Mwebena chipata petauke lundazi chadiza na kukacholola. Please, we don't want this embarrassment again. When you are waking up in the morning, after you are fresh, please eat some porridge.
Yeah, I think you're right, Munsha. We don't want. I don't know what could have caused this dizziness.
Right.
There are a lot of. I wish I could get a doctor like Dr. Mjanjati to tell us what causes dizziness.
Why do we need a doctor, General? Why do we need a doctor for dizziness? For dizzy. When I've not eaten, General, I'm very difficult.
So I think he didn't eat. And if he didn't eat, which is very sad, because the food which is provided for by the taxpayer, he has got plenty of food, so there's no excuse.
Right.
So he should have taken his time to eat. And the other thing is that when you're a commander in chief, you're leading troops, you must be fit yourself. You must be fit. So that dizziness didn't show a good example to the soldiers.
And particularly that it's not dizziness as a result of a disease, right? It's dizziness as a result of my speculation is in breakfast.
I think he didn't have breakfast, or probably he didn't sleep early last night. Could be. And if you don't sleep enough, and then you go on a parade, you are told to stand up and sit down. Lucky enough, he was told to sit down.
Right.
Because there were too many jets passing all over. There were too many tanks. There were too many, march past Army, Air Force, National Service, military police. Too much stuff.
Did the police, were the police there? And the paramilitaries, no?
No, they are not part of the National Defense Force. They are not.
All right.
It was the Defense Forces, combined defense forces, Army, Air Force, and National Service.
All right. Okay. So anyway, I think, are we satisfied, General, that this was just a temporary dizziness as a result of umuntu neglecting breakfast, or something? I don't know. Does he drink?
I don't know. I don't think so. He told us that he has stopped drinking. Right. So I think he stopped drinking. So that's I take it that way. But for me, my conclusion is that he didn't have breakfast. He is tired because he's been inspecting too many projects.
Yeah.
Probably the other thing is that people get dizzy when they get excited, Probably saw too many tanks and too many jets and he got excited. People faint because of that.
Right. Yeah.
So that is my view. But the truth is he was dizzy.
Right.
And he was
I just need to answer someone. My brother, I'm broadcasting with General Chipaku, so I can't answer the phone call. Is that okay? What did you want?
Who's phoning you live, Musha? Who's phoning you live? It's disturbing our program.
You want to come on?
Who's phoning you live? So what I was saying, Musha.
Yes.
I think he was dizzy even when he went fishing. If you look at that video, when he was coming out of the car going to the fish pond, he was still looking very dizzy. Look at that video again. Okay. I watched it. He wasn't walking. He wasn't himself. I think he's still dizzy.
Now, 5 years ago, he collapsed at another march past. Do you think it's related to what happened today? For me, I think that one was done. It was a medical emergency. We couldn't make fun of that. We don't make fun of medical issues, but we do make fun of a person collapsing because Mulandu Wansala. At feed and discharge, everyone has veranda. A person goes to hospital at dizziness, and the nurses doctors try to find everything. Nerves are okay. The head is fine. Everything, they go inside the brain, inside the heart. They see everything is okay. They realize what this person needs is a little bit of porridge. And they are okay. They are able to walk. So that is what we are making fun of. It's the fact that Yachibani Insala. And not because of a disease. Because a disease, as Africans, we wouldn't be talking about it, isn't it? Because
that's why Musha, when he collapsed a few years ago, I think that was a medical condition. They explained to us that he had a medical condition. He flew him to South Africa for treatment. That's fine. You don't mock somebody who's sick, because we all get sick. Yeah,
it's a condition. Pamcolomino.
Yeah, it's a condition with his throat, which which they had to treat him for that. So
Right.
you can't discuss somebody's medical situation.
Right.
You can only discuss about it because as a head of state, we worry about his health because he's a public servant. He's our number one servant, and he's commander in chief as well. So we don't want our commander in chief to collapse. We don't want that to happen. No, we don't. So we would not talk about his medical situation. But if he had the Ichinshingwa Mulandwa porridge, please, Mr. President, learn to have porridge in the morning.
Mr. President, we love you as a human being because you know. So what we want you to do is we are going to put you on porridge. Kachelo chelo mufuire mwadi angale iliyota mlaya mukuseya it tamula iliyota mlaya mukupitana. And so we don't want any excuses that I want to go and meet commanders, I want to go and meet soldiers, I want to go and inspect a project. No, before you inspect a project, we want to ensure that mwadiang mbale mwadia pamala vamyuma kupamala pakosa ebuteke chalo ebuteka techuteke chalo ngoli nensala. Imo general nala seba na ine konseko, because how can you govern a country where muntu pamala padi empty?
No, that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. So if he was hungry and he got dizzy Ichinshingwa because of porridge, I think that's not acceptable. The president, you have to eat in the morning.
Oh man,
you have to eat and porridge, and in Zambia, you know, there's a lot of porridge. You can put imbalala porridge, and we've plenty of groundnuts, so you can have very nice porridge in the morning.
Right.
And because he's president, he can also have sausage in the morning. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Especially if it comes from there's that popular sausage, Achani.
Legana.
Yeah, Banawakwi sausage.
Legana sausage.
Legana, yeah, he can eat Legana sausage. That's fine. Especially promoting Zambian products. That's good. That's really good. So, but don't go parade your president without food. That's not good. It's not acceptable.
Right. So table, if we are diva na table, Legana sausage here, even if it's imported sausage, I really don't care. As long as our president before discharging his official duties. Pantu tuasevana.
Yeah.
At what cost is this that it was just a sudden dizziness? Well, sudden dizziness, Yamsangoshan. Anyway, I think we've exhausted this story too much, General. Can we move on?
Yeah, let's move on to, I don't want to discuss about the army weapons, which I saw, because it simply means we've told the whole world what type of helicopters we have, what type of anti-missiles we have, what type of rapier missiles we have. They have told the whole world, so I don't want to discuss that. Right. And it simply means Malawi cannot try and invade us. So they're not invaders. So I really don't see the reason why we are to display all those things.
Right.
2 months before elections.
Okay.
What I believe, I could be wrong, is that the president wanted to intimidate the Zambians, to say, look, me, I'm a commander-in-chief. Let me show you what type of weapons we have. So behave.
No, he wanted to intimidate Zambians. He neglected to eat Uluchelo. With dizziness. What are you calling it? That Ulunshingwa?
Ulunshingwa mkwai.
General Mwavika kona mkwai. At Ulunshingwa mkwai. So he wanted to intimidate the people of Zambia. Nomba kanshi bachta neglect ukudia.
That's sad. That's really sad. Yeah. But all in all, President, Commander-in-Chief, sir, you reminded me of my service. You reminded me how proud our army men were, and the men and women. They were very, very, very smartly dressed. When I joined the army, there were no women. And I heard this morning, 3 of those platoons which were marching, 4 of them were being commanded by women, which made me very, very proud.
Right.
You know, when I joined the army, there were no women.
Right.
So now to have a captain actually commanding a parade, that's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. It made me feel proud that we have one of the smartest armies in the world. I think they're very smart, our army.
Yeah.
The only thing which worried me, Musha, can you imagine how much we have spent today on the fly pass, on jet fuel, on oil, on everything to make those tanks roll? How many hospitals, how many anti-malarial tablets would we have bought?
Right. Yeah. And COVID as well. Of course, Lusakans came together to try and watch Ifimatank Tafimonoa Monoa. So they came together, and I just hope that it was not a super spreader event.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, after the dizziness episode, which is just temporary and sudden, no big deal, the president retreated to the State House. And then he went fishing at his pond. General, I want you to follow me very well. So he goes, I don't know, you were saying that the way he was walking in a dizzy manner. I can't, I don't believe so. But anyway, it's your opinion. But when he reached the pond, General, he sat down on a chair and started fishing. General, you are following me?
I'm following because I've been watching that video.
And then something unusual happened because President Lungu rarely has a press conference. He never speaks to the press.
Yep.
But I think they were trying to portray that everything is okay, which is fine. And then the journalist asked him a question about political violence. I'm disappointed at the answer he gave.
Yep.
General, this is what he said. This is not me, and it's not General. Teifwe tulelanda yo nibaka teka balungu after okufenta ulunshingwa. After ulunshingwa, bachita recover kulunshingwa. Barifye bwino. Ero nomba lidiabale chita fish bale lovesabi in his fish pond at State House. Journalists actually push a question. What about political violence? This is the president's answer. ECZ and police have failed to address this issue. If they continue failing, I will invoke my own power as president to arrest this situation. Do not push me to do that. That's what the president said. General, I have a huge problem with what His Excellency said.
Musha, to start with, going fishing, you don't go and sit on a chair if you're fishing. What I know is you stand in fishing. That was what we call a public relations exercise to try and reassure the country that the president is fine. But the man was not well.
Right.
You could tell from his motorcade that he was not walking well.
Yeah.
His aides were trying to cover him up to try and make sure that but he was not well. Right. Now, that statement he issued and linking it to Malawi made me feel, it gave me a chill on the spine.
Right.
Because he said, do not push me.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, Mr. President, you are threatening your own citizens. What powers have you got? You cannot declare a war. You cannot declare a state of emergency unless you call back parliament.
Right. Okay. I see the angle you are taking there, General. But there is also another angle, and I know that we are going to explore your angle deeply. But I think we have an issue with this president. I'm sorry, people of Zambia. There is something that is not right about the way Mr. Lungu governs Zambia. He is saying, so he's being asked about violence, and then he says that the police have failed. And if the police continue failing, President Lungu has some other power. There isn't other power that the president have apart from the power of governing the country. So he fails to govern, and then he is thinking that he has some other power from somewhere that is going to finally invoke to arrest violence. That is completely controversial. Violence, and in fact, General, you've said it very clearly on several fora. All we need is this president to put his foot down and say,
Yep.
I don't want militias in my party, because the primary cause of violence, political violence, is the militia that is in the Patriotic Front. They go by the name of commander.
Yep.
Today, the president is honoring army commanders and soldiers and your friends, you know, your younger brothers and sisters, General, because so all those are your younger brothers and younger sisters in the army.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's honoring those commanders today. And yet, within his political party, there is a militia with commanders. So the first thing he needs to do is to disband the Patriotic Front militia.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
He's president of the Patriotic Front. All he needs to tell them is there will be no title of commander for anyone. I'm going to send, you like saying that he sends soldiers. I'm saying no. Soldiers are reserved for when Malawi attacks us. When these thugs attack us in Kamugodi, all he needs is paramilitary forces to go there and flatten Kamugodi within a second.
But Musha, the commander-in-chief has admitted today, right, that the police has failed. The Electoral Commission has failed.
Right.
Who's the commander-in-chief of the police?
Ebo.
So if the police have failed, it simply means, Mr. Commander-in-Chief, you have failed.
Right.
Because I think we have been reminding you. We've been reminding you that you have got the powers to call Kanjenganja.
Right.
To call Kanganja, to call your Secretary General of PF and say, look, there'll be no cadres. There'll be no cadres at the police, at the bus stations. There'll be nobody called the commander. There'll be no wearing of army uniforms. There'll be nobody called the commander. That should be coming from the president.
Right. But
and that can happen overnight.
He says if the police do not, I'm going to invoke certain powers. So by that, of course, he meant emergency powers.
He hasn't got those powers. Mr. President, you don't have those powers.
No, General, he does. He does have some emergency powers.
Unless he calls Parliament back, he has no powers, Munsha. He cannot declare a state of emergency. He cannot. You have to get permission from Parliament to declare a state of emergency. He cannot declare a war. He has to call Parliament. Mr. Lungu, the only powers you have is to tell your police to stop your cadres. You've got those powers.
Right. I agree that that's what needs to be done here, because that's the issue. Who is funding this militia? Who is funding these people? Because just a month ago, for goodness sake, we were told that innocent Kalimanshi is not a member of the Patriotic Front. He was beaten right in the presence of who? In the presence of who, General? You like calling him that name?
In the presence of Umwino wa Kisushi. He was beaten right on the first day of May. Right. In the presence of Umwino wa Kisushi, the Secretary General, the chairman of the party of PF, they were all there.
Right. So they saw, and Innocent was beaten. When he was beaten, Innocent was in fact taken to police cells, and the police charged him with what do you call this offense of going to a place, trespassing, criminal trespassing.
Yeah.
And the Patriotic Front told us that Mr. Kalimanshi is not a member of the Patriotic Front. The Patriotic Front, in fact, suggested that Mr. Kalimanshi is a member of the UPND and is causing confusion because
it's UPND.
It's UPND. Fast forward 3 weeks later, Mr. Kalimanshi is the star of the Patriotic Front.
No, don't even go fast forward, Munsha. The people who assaulted Kalimanshi were known. They were taken to court. Guess what? The PF told Kalimanshi to withdraw the case.
Right.
The PF bought Kalimanshi a new vehicle.
Right.
And then you can now fast forward to a time when she's now receiving Edith Nawakwi at the same place which is supposed to be closed with the green colors everywhere. And he's even handing over Chitenge to Edith Nawakwi, and they dance. It's a serious contradiction.
Right. And so these are the reservations, these are the questions that we have. If you are saying that you are the president, you have not empowered the police. I think that is the main thing here. President Lungu has not empowered the police to go after this militia. He hasn't. He talks that he has. Practically, he hasn't. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where the problem is. But he also mentioned about Malawi. How relevant does Malawi come in here? He says that the opposition wants to do Malawi. What was he talking about? Provoking our because, General, let me be honest. Malawi is like a parent to us. Malawi is Zambia's grandmother. We don't want people involving Malawi in things that, no. I think it's very unfair for President Lungu to have invoked our grandmother, Malawi. Because Malawi shall continue to be Zambia's, no matter what, Malawi shall continue to be Zambia's grandmother. Without Abena Malawi, Zambia would not be where it is today. So we shouldn't even invoke that great nation. President Lungu mentioned Malawi today. For what?
I don't know where he's. I don't know what this president, how he thinks. The issue of evoking Malawi, to me, simply means he's basically threatening the army. He's basically saying to Malawi, Zambia army, do not do what happened in Malawi. Do not go for my police. No, that's what he's basically saying. He even went. No, what I'm saying is that we all know what happened in Malawi, Musha.
Okay.
The police.
Are you telling me that in Malawi there was a break in command?
Yes. The police failed to control the situation. The Electoral Commission of Malawi had a problem, and the police failed. The people moved, and the only people who had to move in to stop all the nonsense was the army, which moved in to stop the police. But
the army moves in. The army moves in at the order of the president.
Well, the army in Malawi moved in to install. They didn't take over. They installed peace between the police and the citizens.
This is the confusion now brought by the president, because he's invoking Malawi, and there is so much that happened in Malawi that it is leaving us in complete shock. Was it part of the dizziness? Did the dizziness affect his judgment that he could invoke an independent grandmother into the dispute that he's having in Lusaka?
I'm finding it difficult, Musha. He evoked Kenya in 2017. Judges don't behave like what happened in Kenya. Now he's evoking Malawi. And he also goes in the same statement to say, I know that the opposition is trying to confuse the defense forces. You are trying to make them fight amongst them. He used the Bemba word, I can't remember what it is, to bring conflict between the forces. Mr. President, no, nobody is trying to bring conflict between the forces. Your police has failed because you, Commander-in-Chief, have failed. Our army is a disciplined army. That's why they've been very, very quiet. They will be quiet, and they'll wait until the president is elected. And you'll be surprised, Mr. President, if HH wins, the same army will switch within minutes, because that's how they're trained to be loyal.
No. That's very clear that it's the people of Zambia who will give the defense forces their commander-in-chief. And we have faith that the Zambia army remains non-partisan, politically neutral, professional service. And we thank those that have served in the army, and we have no doubt whatsoever that our defense forces are going to remain loyal to President Lungu while he serves as president, and they'll remain loyal to the successor of this president if it is different from President Lungu. Very important.
Today, Munsha, one thing which surprised me about the Army Defense Forces Day, or the National Defense Forces Day, was the elevation of the Secretary General of the PF. And he was there being addressed. You know, the PF has nothing to do with the Defense Forces.
No.
Nothing.
No.
So that Secretary General was not even supposed to be there. That's nothing to do with the PF.
Ati mwaenda shani, wamwira, tuwafula shani. Anyway,
you know,
General, I want to get permission from you because Mr. Chomba Kaoma is on standby. But if you say no, we are not going to bring him on. But if you say yes, we are going to bring him on. I think he was watching and he's like he has something to contribute. What do you think?
On condition that he does not want to tell lies, because we were watching everything. Because if he starts telling lies, we'll just cut him off. Yes, let him come on. I really don't mind. But Mr. Chomba, we have been watching everything. We have been listening. So whatever you tell us, don't tell lies to the Zambians. So bring him on.
Chomba Kaoma.
What a strong warning there.
I saw that you phoned me, and we are addressing very important matters here.
Sure.
And so, what do you have to say?
Good evening, Manoma.
Good evening, Chomba. How are you?
I'm fine.
You are looking green again. You are still green in your blood as well?
I'm always green. Always green. My blood is green.
Good. Well done.
No, thank you so much for bringing me on. Thank you so much. May I take this opportunity to congratulate and thank Mr. Munsha. I think he's the only lawyer who saw the outcome of the Constitutional Court ruling yesterday. He said
move on, please.
Munsha, I told you that this is what he was going to bring. Now, Chomba, we knew what the outcome was going to be.
Yes.
You know, you didn't need to be a lawyer to know that your court was going to favor your president. So can you move on? Let's talk about what happened. That's what we're talking about.
Okay. I think I've been following that, and I was there actually. Vamunsha, there are two things that I love Vanoman for that. I think Nalabo Mfetchmember. I'm sure Vanoman Marifora Poiria combat. Marishuo for Yafina. Emquai. Or Machmona then Stofo Yachiva. That's
exactly what we are saying. I don't know why you are here.
Chomba, I wore that uniform for 15 years. I trained thousands of soldiers. One of the things you are taught is to prepare. So that commander-in-chief was not even wearing combat. He was wearing, that is what we call combat uniform. He was not even wearing that. He was wearing, so don't give me an excuse of him being tired. Every soldier, they teach you what we call endurance. Like today, I proved to say Lungu didn't go to military training. You can't faint at a parade. You can't do that.
It was
no. We are humans.
He didn't eat porridge. The commander should eat porridge before he goes.
The issue
that footballer who pitch. Can you say Nankweta footballer who put in my own pitch? Can you say
Chomba, I have a lot of respect for the defense forces.
Thank you, and I appreciate
because I served in the defense forces. I have a lot of respect for the commander-in-chief. Whatever happened there, we don't know what happened. What we expect is the president or Dr. Miti just tell us what happened, because you said you like something about me. I watch every move by Mr. Lungu and these people. Every move. Okay? Because that's how my brain was trained. We watch his move so that we can then anticipate what he's going to say next. So the question is, what happened?
Okay.
Tell us. You were there.
I think, Munsha, going by the statement which came from, firstly to start with, Dr. Miti is a professional medical doctor. And issuing that statement, I think one thing that wasn't caught on camera, but what I will tell you that happened, because I was there. The president did walk to the car. Himself, he walked to his car.
We are not doubting that. I'm not doubting that. All I'm saying is that. Just wait, Chombakauma. We need to be very clear here. We are not saying that the president, I'm not saying that the president is sick. So my speculation is that that's my speculation. It's okay. But we can speculate.
Okay.
So it's okay to speculate. No, by all but even speculation here, porridge, I shouldn't talk about it. No. People can collapse suddenly. That happens. People can collapse because they are sick. That's normal. And people can collapse because all these things are possibilities. So we are not, if this president was sick, I wouldn't be mocking him. I'm a preacher. I'm a lawyer. I don't mock people because they are sick. But bachimweba ati yako porridge that no na ya mukumona masoja. I'm going, it's funny, because wemwaume wakana shanu kukulya porridge elo waya fenta kulya waya. That's why every day namfeni wewe chomba kaoma ngayakutira ngabwacho uruchelo, make sure walyako tuntu tumotumo wasen walyako tuntu pako watipamala pabashani pabako bwino. So
can I challenge you? Can you ask ZNBC to show us the video of him walking to the car?
Okay.
I'll pay for that advert.
All right, not a problem. Now, I like one thing which you people, I think, I love the way you've come out strong to condemn this political violence that is it is bad. We are not like that as Zambians. No, we are not like that.
It's easy. Your party told us innocent Kalimanshi ninjishiba. You need to be careful because ala kuishira. Ala kuishira. Nama soja bakwe. Abeta tama soja. Imwe innocent Kalimanshi. Bali ya muponona. Ulenda tuturande chibemba. Nomba general munjerereko.
Go ahead.
Innocent Kalimanshi. Bali ya muponona at the PF secretariat. Ain. Na motoka yakwe baocha batoba by the Patriotic Front. The following, a few minutes after that, the Patriotic Front told us that innocent Kalimanshi is not a member of the Patriotic Front.
Which is true.
No. You mwalap sana na ala kuishira. I want to protect you. Shirefwaya innocent akese kupono na chomba kaoma. Shirefwaya. So the Patriotic Front told us that Innocent is not a member of the Patriotic Front. Suddenly, he met with Kamba. Kennedy Chikamba. Kennedy Chikamba. He met with Kennedy Chikamba. He met with what?
It's Kennedy Chikamba, not Kennedy Chikamba.
Our viewers, we withdraw that name. He's Kamba. He's not Chikamba. That's not fair. It's not fair. So let me just. He has forgotten. Innocent. Is he UPND or is he PF?
Innocent is one of us. He's PF. He's PF. He's 100% PF.
Thank you, Chomba. Why did they withdraw the case of the people who assaulted
that case was taken to court by Innocent, and he was a complainant in that case. So I watched a video which he posted saying that because Naritemwa party and you have decided to discontinue that case against you.
I
in his own style.
I smell a rat there. Now he's driving a new car. Did you buy him a new car? Because you have got money, Chomba. Did you buy him a new vehicle?
No, you know.
Because Umaicholia, he is nothing. He's a thug. He has no income.
What you need to understand about Innocent is that Innocent is a businessman. When Mwana is a businessman. That he does with your muntu. He's a very creative guy, that one. He's a businessman. Go to Chawama and see where the guy operates from. He's very organized.
Okay, now he's a member of the Patriotic Front.
Yes, he's a member now.
He runs Kamgodi.
This is one thing that Munsha, you don't understand about the procedure to readmission to the party.
No.
I might be aware.
Sorry. You've already said that Kalimanshi is a PF member. What I'm telling you is that Kalimanshi runs a militia.
I can't describe that as a militia. So
what would you describe it?
I think Innocent is a leader, and he's got people that
leader of what?
He's a commander of what?
He's not a commander. He's a leader of youths.
Okay, youths.
Under which party?
Mamusha, let me give you an example. Mamusha. I've got a lot of people that believe in me. Not that they are my employees.
No. You are going to irrelevant things. We are focused on Mr. Innocent Kalimanshi.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying that he's a member of the Patriotic Front and he leads a youth.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. I'll describe
is that youth group part of the Patriotic Front?
Huh?
The youth that is it part of the Patriotic Front?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you've answered our questions.
It is a Patriotic branch. It's actually a branch in Chawama. What you should understand is that it's a branch in Chawama.
But General, do we need any further evidence from this witness?
No. What I will say is, you were talking about violence. Let's agree on one thing.
Yes.
That violence is not good for our country.
It's bad.
2 days ago, HH was in Mandevu. PF cadres filled their stones with their car with stones. They had machetes. Do you think that was the right thing for them to do, to attack HH?
Yeah. Thank you so much for that question.
I'm asking you, was that a good thing for them to do?
That was a bad thing, but let me finish.
All right.
Was bad because we need to respect each other's boundaries. Now, I wasn't in Mandevu myself, but the report which we got from the police is that there were PF cadres that tried to disrupt the roadshow. I think if that is what the police are sticking on, those guys must face the wrath of the law.
Okay.
And this must go to the UPND cadres as well to say, when you are conducting the roadshows,
that's exactly we really appreciate. Did you have anything else to say? You have less than a minute. We need to continue with our program.
So in conclusion, I'm saying mweba nensu ba UPND ngamule pita munchende nama road shows na ba president venu ba akainde ichirima ngamwamone fitenge fya PF bali kobeka nangu mwasanga pa office bali lembat ni pa PF aleni na imwe bane piteni fe mumutende na imwe banandi ba PF ngamule pita muri namba leaders, muri naba bomani, muri naba provincial chairman, na ifanga tuwafisange fya red. Ture pitirira fefiri ya fine.
Na muri naba Kennedy Kamba.
Kwamba kwa mutende, because ngata ture chitatora red fuevene. We are sowing a very bad seed. Ala tukala ikoma.
Now, Chomba, did you see what happened in Lungu? Was it yesterday or day before yesterday?
Very disturbing.
Do you think that is the future of Zambia you want for your children and your grandchildren?
No. No, that was very disturbing.
So can I request you to do something for me? Go to President Lungu tomorrow when he's no longer dizzy, and say, Mr. President,
it's fine. You saw him, it's okay.
No. What I'm saying, when he has rested, tell him to say, Mr. President, this country is bigger than PF. This country is bigger than UPND. This country is bigger than Edgar Chagwa Lungu. That country is bigger than HH. The other thing is that nobody will ever be president for life. So he has to be prepared to hand over, to be elected or not to be elected. You cannot force the people of Zambia to maintain you in power. It doesn't happen. So go and tell him, we love our country, we want it to be peaceful. Because what we saw in Bulungu is not acceptable.
Let me conclude something here. Let me conclude by saying this to both Banoma and Nawamunsha. The moment you start talking about handing over power before the actual election day, you are now fearing violence, because it's like you are sure that the red camp has already won.
No, in an election chamber, there are two things in an election. You either win or lose.
Yes.
UPND lost, according to you, lost in 2016. We accepted. Are you prepared to accept losing in August?
If we lose in an election, yes. But if we win, are you also prepared to accept?
Fine. That's what I wanted you to tell us. There's winning or losing.
But if we win, are you also prepared?
Of course, we have been prepared. That's why we have been prepared. We have been prepared. That's why we didn't have any noise in 2016.
Are you going to preach peace?
I preach peace. I have been. Have you been following me, Chomba Kaoma?
Yes.
Are you Wabakwisa all this time? Have you been following me? Do you know me? Do you know what I stand for? Have you read what I do? Have you followed me from 2010? From 2010?
I want you to be ready for anything. I want you to be ready.
No. I think we have. Listen to this. If in this election the people of Zambia vote for Edgar Lungu, I'll be the first one to congratulate him. Do you understand? This is very simple. Now listen. This is very wait. This is very simple. It's common sense. It's not complicated. That no, it's common sense. So what we need is that now President Lungu na wewe na iwe wine bantu mubutuka nabo so kanshi muye mubebe okweba if the people of Zambia elect him nish chapwa, but if the people of Zambia decide to elect somebody else, let somebody else be president of our country, and we are going to have a peaceful election, and he must stop threatening our people. You understand that? Stop threatening our people. It's going to be a good election. Bye-bye, Mr. Kauma.
Bye.
That was Chomba Kauma. Okay. So we are at 1 hour and 3 minutes. For those that are sending stars, please do so now. Now is the best time to send stars. Do not wait until the Palasero number watch the rush. Bantu, you can be dizzy, you know. So we don't want to fast at you send stars. You do it now, okay? Baruth.
Mukwai.
Na ikabalero. Aleni, tuwebe nkwediashi, ati ukufento.
Umutende po Mukwai. Oh. With all due respect to Amusha na wachipakupaku, ababantu bamusango you, when things are boiling back home, I really feel that they don't have the best interest at heart for the country. Omuntu alelanda on serious matters, totale seka nokuseka. Please do not bring people on this platform. I know it's your platform. You choose who to bring and who not to bring. But some of us, you know, we are very sensitive to matters that are happening back home. You know?
Yeah, but Ruth, I do understand what you are saying. We have been accused in the last few weeks to say we don't bring in our PF. We don't hear their view. And for me, I've always told Munsha, I'm prepared to face any of the PF guys, including Mr. Lungu himself. In fact, yesterday I challenged that we want him for a debate. So Chomba he has no idea, because I think he drinks with him, he eats with him, and everything. I think he's comfortable. He doesn't know what's happening in Burundi.
My own observation is that they are all dizzy.
They're all dizzy. You're right.
They're all dizzy.
Dizzy.
To be very honest with you,
dizzy. Luo dizzy. Luo ticket dizzy.
These are the people that killed in Samansama and Joseph Kaunda in full broad daylight. We have been seeing blood since December. And this is the same party who is no, we are not doing that. We are not doing that. And they cannot blame UPND for the violence that is happening today. They started it.
Right.
They started it. UPND is trying to defend themselves. This is unacceptable. And for him to start sitting sending threats to the people of Zambia, very unacceptable. We put him there. He should remember that. And we'll take him out.
Thank you. Thank you. Timmy H. Maud Hamwele, are you there? Maud?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here. What I want is PF to go. Thank you.
Right. Maud is very...
Yeah. First, before we move on, Musha, but Ruth, you are very, very right. PF has been preparing for this violence for a long time. And I think that the trick they have now is to cause as much confusion, as much violence, so that people cannot go for voting. And the threat by Mr. Lungu this afternoon is an empty threat. Mr. President, you don't have the powers to call an emergency. You have no power to declare to stop these elections. You don't have those powers.
Uncle Norman, you confirmed this afternoon, this evening, to say, what's his name, this militia guy?
Innocent Kalimanshi.
Actually confirm that he's part of them. So what is he talking about?
Yeah.
He confirmed on this platform that he's part of them. And those are the people that are causing confusion and killing people in Lusaka and everywhere in the country. Nonsense.
Right. Yeah. Timmy H. Timmy Hara. Mbuya. Atumule breakfast. Mbuya mule breakfast. Otherwise, madizi. Mukafenta.
Comrade Norman, muliuli.
Ndimakora chomwene wakulu muliuli.
Danaong. All right. Mbuya, thank you so much. And first of all, I want to congratulate our heroes, the gallant men and women. But one thing that I don't understand that I would like to have Comrade Norman explain to me is why is it the 45th? What's the meaning of that? Why is it called the 45th anniversary? Why?
Okay, what happened is that when we got our independence, we had the army separate and the Air Force wasn't there. And then General Chinkulu was appointed as the first Zambian African Army commander.
Yeah.
And then in 1965, there was what we call the UDI, Universal Declaration of Independence by Smith. They started bombing us. The Mozambicans were bombing us. Angola was bombing us. Kaunda decided to put all the National Defense Forces together to call what they call the National Defense Force.
Oh, thank you. That
was done in 1976. I was there myself.
Roger that. I 100% concur with that, Comrade Norman. You know that you have both people from the armed forces. Yes, with regards to breakfast, myself, I'm not a breakfast person. I don't eat lunch either. I only eat once a day. And by the time I knock off after 12-hour shift, I can still do a 6 mile, which is a 10K, without a problem with weight. That's the leg.
One day.
Tough. I stood on parade myself for 6 hours on end without fainting. That's how my health is. I'm very healthy. I hydrate. I get plenty of sleep. I don't take alcohol. I live a healthy lifestyle. That's why I can stand. You remember Comrade Norman talked about endurance. We did endurance training. You know Sanders. We went to Sanders ourselves. We did endurance training there. But all in all, I think Mr. Lungu needs to rest. Time has come for him to like say, okay, don't impose yourself. Otherwise, I might say something that might not be very pleasant, but I think it's his time to just leave the stage while people see happening. That's what I want to say. With regards to violence, it's evil from the pit of hell. Like I told you the last time, Rashima people, we need to address this issue from the spiritual perspective. Other than that, if we don't bind the strong man, violence will still be there. But the commander-in-chief, the so-called president, should stamp his foot and say, guys, enough is enough. Violence, that's it. No more. But it's like he fuels it. Why? Because every time his party is involved in it, doesn't utter any words to that effect. For me, the ultimate violence
is blaming the opposition for all the violence. Exactly. Even this afternoon, he was still saying the opposition. Mr. President, it's your party which has been violent. It's your party which brought in problems in Lungu. It's your party which has been having. It's your party which killed Lawrence Banda. It's your party which is Mapula. He must accept that must stick in his head.
Mapenzi, Vespas, all these innocent citizens died at the hands of him. Sometimes I wonder, is he a section commander or the commander-in-chief? Who is President Lungu in terms of armed forces? The section commander or one?
He behaves like a corporal. I said it yesterday. He behaves like a corporal, not an army commander, not like a commander-in-chief. He's behaving like a section commander.
Right.
Now, section commander,
So people should do the right thing in August. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mbuya.
Thank you.
Because people can get going in this military language. I'm so innocent. And
can we go to our elder, Vankwilimba, please? What is your view about Chifentelo, about the violence, and about the threat that he is going to declare a state of emergency? Vankwilimba, it's up to you, sir.
Hello, Vamunsha and General Pakpaku. This is what I was, I think, what I was referring to yesterday, where you have someone who is failing to address the real issue, and yet he is the man who has the power to stop violence. Look at what happened in Lungu. You know, those people, they are even mentioning names of the person who organized people outside Lungu. People came from Mbala and from Kasama to go and remove all campaign materials for UPND in Lungu. Right. And in addition to that, they start beating people. And up to now, we haven't heard anything concrete as to what the police is doing to a person who has been named to have organized the cadres from Kasama and Mbala to go and beat up people in Lungu.
Right.
And there's something else coming. I mean, today, the same man you have been talking about innocently I think he was being interviewed by on ZNBC, where he has threatened that there will be no campaign material for UPND in Shawama. He is threatening violence. We are not hearing from anybody in power as to what they are doing to actually tame that young man. Because Shawama, everybody is free to go to Shawama and campaign. It's a campaign time.
Right.
We cannot have people saying this is a no-go area. Right. So I'm appointed that people are pretending, they are giving a blind to those that are instigating violence and want to blame the victims. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Bankudimba, Innocent should be told that he doesn't own Chawama or Mandevo or whatever part of Lusaka. And to me, it simply means the police have failed to control that young man. And right. I know I really differ with Munsha over this. I feel if the police has failed, just move in the commando just for one night and see what happens. And I know it's the only person who can do that, who can deploy the commando. It's the commander-in-chief himself. Mr. Commander-in-Chief, just deploy one company of commando into Lusaka and give them 24 hours. They will clean them up. Innocent will never, ever wear a military uniform again after the commandos have given them a very good lesson.
But the president is from Chawama.
Oh, that's the problem.
How can he discipline his people?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We have a problem there. We have a huge problem because Mr. President, you're not behaving like a president. You're behaving like a Chawama thug. You know, that's what is happening.
Right.
We expect our commander-in-chief to behave like a commander-in-chief.
Right.
But he's not. He's not. Look at who shot Lawrence. You know, it really annoys me. The person who shot Lawrence Banda is known. Everybody knows him.
Yeah.
But they will never touch him.
All right, Brian Pande.
Yeah, thank you very much. Greetings to all the panelists. And it's just a sad story, you know, hearing that our commander-in-chief, who is not performing the commanding duties of making sure that the country is in order, fainted or collapsed, whatever the term you might wish to use. That's very unfortunate. And we hope it has nothing to do with spirituality. I know, you know, as Zambians, there are people that that believe in these superstitious and things like that. But we just hope that it was a bit of some hunger and it has been managed. But just like General said, when you faint and you want to show the world that you are fine, you don't sit, you stand up and fish while standing, so that we know because the strength of a person is judged how long they can stand. So we just wish him well, and we just wish that he can continue to execute his duties before the 12th. Then I just wanted to commend Chomba Kaoma. You know, it's not easy to watch people who say the truth, like the likes of the General Chipaku and the last Musha, if you are PF, if you are a sympathizer of PF, because these are the guys that hammer the truth. So I really would like to thank him for always following this program and making sure that he follows through the arguments that are laid on the table. And since he has access to the head of state, I'm sure he might be one of the people that has been tasked to, you know, to spy on this discussion and hear what is being said. I'm sure the information reaches State House through him. Talking about Kalimanshi and violence, you see, in Zambia today, if you talk of Kalimanshi, everyone will laugh and say, what is happening in Zambia? He is a epitome of violence. If you just hear Kalimanshi, you just think of, you know, a violent character and stuff like that. And this is the person that has been embraced, unfortunately, at the highest level. You remember, this is the person whom, by Tayali just mentioning about his dealings, Tayali became in bad books with the PF. Tayali was the daddy of the PF. Just mentioning about, you know, the dealings that Kalimanshi has with State House, it landed him into problems. That should show you to say this is the person who's getting blessings at the highest level. He was even, you know, the one welcoming Edith Nawaku. Now imagine someone that
Edith Nawaku was dancing for innocent Kalimanshi.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, so it shows you that innocent Kalimanshi is higher than Nawaku in this campaign.
And he was meeting Kennedy Kamba.
You see?
I'm now learning to say his name correctly, General.
Yeah.
Very soon you just hear that you'll be welcoming the president, which is not very good. So this issue of violence, and it's very sad that this violence, the president, who is the father of all of us, those in opposition, those in the ruling, and those that are inside in the naturals, every time he wants to condemn it, he will direct it straight to the opposition, you know, to say, we know this is the work of the opposition. They want to do the Malawi formula. Who does that? As a head of state, that is not preaching unit. Because the aggressors, if the victims are always now accused to be aggressors, what will the citizens do? They will be very agitated and upset, such that they want actually to defend themselves even more, because they're not being protected by the higher office. So this violence should be condemned. Like how I wish, the president can come out like Cholaka Omakem when he said, PF, UPND, if you find your friends, let them do their thing. UPND, if you find your PF, but always you find that the PF are always the aggressors. The other ones are just victims and they just defend themselves. So what has happened is that now this issue of violence has seemed to escalate now, because citizens have realized to say they're not being protected by police. Rather, the police who tend to arrest those that are being victimized. So they're now defending themselves, and by so doing, now it's being considered to say violence. Now Mr. Lungu has seen that his members are being clobbered by citizens. Now he wants to save face because it's not working. So we just ask him, in conclusion, I'm saying we just ask him to put his foot down and condemn this without being one-sidedness and without him looking at himself as a PF president, but as a president of Zambia, of everyone. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. General, what a discussion it has been today. And so we look forward to tomorrow, but we've got to sign off now and thank each and every Zambian. Please send stars. Everybody can actually do it. So you can send stars for our program. General, thank you for your service. We want, if you meet and speak to any of your colleagues in uniform, let them know that this nation values their service and loves them. We know that this particular day was extremely controversial, not in the least for the fact that somebody got dizzy, which is unfortunate. It's very human. Bonse, General, kuti tuwagwata ulunjingwa. It's terrible, but it's common. It's humanity, particularly ngatauliro luchero utuwaya mukufenda. So kwena nachivipa sana, and we wish the president a very. But if we know he's okay. General, your last words, and then we close.
No, I just wanted to say we wish the president good health, because whatever happens, he's our president, and we wish him good health. I also wish he could really put his foot down and say, look, we have got 59 days to go. No more violence. We don't want any more deaths. I'm just receiving a message this evening now. People have been hacked in Avondale this evening. UPND supporters, just now. So that must stop, Mr. President.
Right.
Thirdly, you cannot threaten Zambians with a state of emergency because you don't have that power. Unless you call back parliament, that will be fine. The last word I can say now is that tomorrow we are honored to have the UPND vice president and running mates, Honorable Nalumango, tomorrow at 21 hours. We're talking about her life. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about her background. Who is she? So please join us tomorrow, and over to you, Munsha. Good night from Scotland.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been TV Bakwetu program on a very special event that happened today. We've talked about it a lot, but anyway, we've got to remind you again. This topic was about dizziness. The Commander Dizzy at Vachifenta, Ulunshingwa, while officiating. It was nothing serious. There was no serious illness. It's common. The other thing we talked about today was the fact that there was a threat about state of emergency. And what we are saying is no. Just put your foot down and control your own militia in the patriotic front. Thank you so much for joining us today. God bless you, and God bless our country.